we managed to get this video up, but it's finally here. So I told you at the end of our last series that the next one we would cover would be cloud saving and cloud sharing and using a cloud drive. So the very first thing we need to do before we teach you about these things is explain exactly what a cloud drive is. Now, if you Google cloud storage, the very first link you're going to come to is called the top 10 best cloud storage, and in here is all of the things that you need to know about what cloud storage is. So basically, cloud storage is called cloud because you can't see it, there's nothing tangible, but you've basically been allocated a space inside a server, inside a company's server organization or whatever, and it's yours to use. So when we look at this particular screen or website that explains about cloud sharing down here, how does it work, what is online backup, what to look for, etc. The top 10 cloud sharing spaces are listed here. Now, you might be familiar with Dropbox, you might be familiar with the word iCloud, you might be familiar with the word OneDrive or G Drive. Those are all clouds where you can save stuff. Now, what you're basically doing is you're saving stuff in a server hosted at a company, probably in America. And it's exactly the same as saving it onto a USB pen stick or onto an external hard drive, but you're just saving it into a server called a cloud, but over in America somewhere. So the advantages that I think for storing in a cloud are, one, how many times have you lost a USB pen that had a file on it? 1. 2, how many times have you saved onto a hard drive and lost the hard drive or not had it with you at the time? 3, how many times has your computer seized and you've lost a document? So the benefit to saving in a cloud is that it's at an organization, they pay big money to keep their companies functioning properly, and it's reasonably secure in there, and it's almost 99% guaranteed that the document will be where you saved it. The disadvantages to saving in a cloud are the security risks, of course. You wouldn't save your whakapapa back to Marama or Papatuanuku inside a cloud just because you wouldn't do that. It's unlikely that your documents are going to be hacked into, but it's just the kind of stuff you wouldn't save into that space. You wouldn't save your passwords for your bank accounts or very private information, copies of your birth certificates and driver's licenses in the cloud. It's just not a good idea. But if you're doing studies or you're doing work or you're doing PowerPoints, always good to save backups into clouds, because if you forget your pen drive or your hard drive seizes or fries, then you know it's stored online somewhere. So lots of advantages to using a cloud. The disadvantages are there as well. One of the main disadvantages to using the cloud is if you don't have the internet at home, then you can't access your document wherever you want to, whenever you want to. So I just want to go over some of these cloud spaces. iCloud, which you see on the window here, is associated with Apple devices. So if you've ever had an iPhone or an iPad or a Mac, you would have created a login for a cloud and you would have saved your stuff into a cloud somewhere. So if you've switched from Apple and you've gone to Samsung or any other Android device, then you'll find that you probably aren't able to access those documents on Android because it's locked to Apple. There is probably a conversion way, but we're not discussing that today. You might be familiar with Dropbox. So this is what a Dropbox account is. They're sometimes built into Android devices for login and for you to save your items and documents into. You might be familiar with Mega. This is a space that, and you might also be familiar with OneDrive. Now I just want to show you OneDrive is associated with Outlook or Hotmail accounts. So if you have a Hotmail account, you have a OneDrive. And how you're going to access that, I'll show you in a minute. If you have a Gmail account, then you have access to a G Drive. Companies like Yahoo, Hotmail, and Gmail, to keep the punters in, they're building these extra apps to try and keep you secured in there. So before we cover how to access a OneDrive and a G Drive, because a lot of people have Gmails and Hotmails, I want to just show you some things to look for before you decide on which cloud space you're going to use. So inside here are the companies, and if you click these, they will take you to the website. Okay. Now, what you want to look for is down here is the amount of space you're given. So, for example, Crash Plan give you unlimited space for $6. JustCloud.com give you unlimited space for free. MyPCBackup.com give you unlimited space for $2.95. You probably want to avoid paying for anything. Now, one thing that a lot of these cloud spaces lure you into is they might give you, say, we've got 25 gigs here, which is pretty small for that amount of money. But what they might do is they'll throw little lures at you to keep you inside the drive. So they might say when you get to 22 gigs on here, they might offer you extra discounts and stuff like that to buy more, which of course is just sales. So before you sign up to one, check out the price, because you want free. Free's good. Check out the security on a place like this. They might be saying free and unlimited, but make sure that they're very secure. And also you want to make sure that they're usable across all your devices. So if you're using an iPad or a tablet or a phone with Android or a phone that's Apple, you want to make sure that that can be used in every single device. So as iCloud is locked to Apple, you don't want to jump onto Just Cloud and it's only usable on Apple. And then when you switch to Android, you're screwed. So just some things to check out before you sign up to any cloud sharing space. If you have a Hotmail account, you have a OneDrive. I use OneDrive for several things, mostly for my study and to store photos that I never want to lose. So I just want to show you, this is an Outlook account. You might be familiar with it if you have one. Right up here in the top corner, because a lot of people don't know, there's extra stuff in there. So right up there in the top corner are all these things that you're entitled to use just because you're an Outlook customer. If you click on OneDrive, it'll take you to your OneDrive space. Okay? So similarly with Gmail, this is a Gmail account. And if we click up here inside our Google Apps, here are all the things that you have, and there's probably more too if you want to click down, but over here is your G Drive. Okay, so G Drive, and it looks just like an external folder. You can create photos and folders. I'm just right-clicking here, so right-click, create a new folder. This is a new folder. And you can click and drag your documents from inside your PC, so you can open up My Documents. You can grab a file, so I'll go to My Documents, grab a file, and you can just drop it in there like that. Okay, so click and drag, it's good to use. In OneDrive you can do the same thing, so you can create new folders, upload items, and similarly you can just grab files and drop them into OneDrive just like that as well. Okay, so click and drag. That's pretty much it, I think. So perhaps the next video might want to cover accessing your drives on your devices. But that's what a cloud drive is. If you're working on an important document for something and you back it up to a cloud, it's really good to back it up in there, because then you know that it's securely available through another source. And if, for example, you might be doing a course of study, you save a file inside to your cloud, you send it off on a USB stick and it gets lost in a flood and the document's damaged, you know that you've got a backup of it inside your cloud, and you actually can go into your cloud just quickly. I'll show you. And you can share documents just straight from that cloud. So you can click on this document, right click, and there's a share. And I could share it to people if I wanted to. So just examples of what you can do with documents inside a cloud. So that's our lesson today. We want to look at how to access Facebook from devices without having to use the Facebook app sometime in the future, and also how to access these cloud drives from your many devices that you have. Mauri ora whānau, have a great night.